Hello and welcome to a brand new game for the channel. Today we are looking at Railroad Corporation. Now, as you know, I am completely in love with most train games I find, so hopefully this will be a new awesome one to add to the list. Now, you may be able to see that it does say continue campaign for mission 2. I have played the game a little bit. I wanted to do the tutorial and then start recording and, show from there. Unfortunately, I recorded 2 videos which got me to mission 2 before realising my mic was muted for more than half of it. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But is anyone really that surprised? But because of that, I'm starting from scratch, and hopefully you guys will forgive the fact that you don't get to see me bumble through the first episode going, I don't get what's going on. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Yes, we'll start over. So, when you first push play the game, it will instantly take you to the tutorial. Once you've done the tutorial once, it doesn't force it on you every time, but it is an option where you can choose to play it. So, let's choose a portrait. Well, none of them are brilliant. I suppose we'll go with this time. Now, you get to choose who you want to work for. Now, eventually, as far as I understand it, you will end up running your own corporation, but to begin with, you're just an entry-level employee managing lots of stuff. So you have to apply for a job at one of these guys' corporations. Each of them gives you a different strategic bonus. So, for example, this guy will give you railroad laying costs are 10% less. This one gives you an extra locomotive at the beginning of each mission, and this guy gives you some extra cash. Let's go with you. I'd like the extra locomotive, please. Okay, hot steel for Cincinnati. So we have received a large order. Mr. Denman, an entrepreneur from Cincinnati, has asked us to supply him with 5 carriages of steel. Time is running out, and Mr. Denman has even sent a prepayment for the order. So this is basically just an overview of the mission that we need to do. We need to deliver 5 steel to Cincinnati. However, we need to actually produce the steel first. It also goes into my overdraft limit and things like that. If I ever go below negative 50,000, I get fired. So yeah, that's quite generous, really. Negative 50,000. So we have loads of mission objectives just up here. Now, as you can see, each one of these has a little hat. Now, when you finish a stage, you can spend any of these points you got to give your sort of character permanent upgrades. Those upgrades can be anything from reducing maintenance costs to reducing track laying costs and so on and so forth. You don't always have to complete these objectives. Some of them you will do naturally just because, to make steel we need to deliver coal and iron. So we're gonna get those no matter what. However, if I didn't build a technology investment, which is set up a research and development department in your office, if I didn't do that, I'd just not get those points and any points that quest leads to. So yeah. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to do it. The same with, you can take as long as you like on the map. If I wanted to sit here for, a month and just play this level, I could. However, if I manage to do it within this time limit, I'll get a bonus to my experience, which I can then spend for the later missions. I am going to be trying to do it within that time limit. But first, let's take a look at our starting city. So this is where we start. Here is our headquarters, and as you can see, it has an extra train there because that's our bonus. these are the stations. Now, as far as I'm aware, later on you do upgrade to stations with multiple platforms, but to start with you just have the one in and out. Now, trains can't pass through each other when they're on the rails, but they can pass each other when they're in a station. And I don't mind that as a compromise, really. I hate it when trains ghost through each other, sort of in the middle of the tracks. But having a station that isn't 5 times bigger than your city, because you've got to have 5 stations, is kind of weird. And let's face it, scaling is a thing. Because you want the train big enough so you can see it, but no train is as big as a building, although these trains are. So I think it's a good compromise. So, what are we going to do to earn some money? Well, we've got wheat just there. And so these are the demands of a city, and these are what they produce. Now, the city demands are just, once you meet them, they will slowly drain from their maximum stockpile. So if I deliver 20 wheat very quickly, they won't want any more for a little while, but they'll slowly tick down and then you can deliver more. They will give me just whatever price is listed, and the closer you get to 20, the less the demand is, so the less they'll pay you for it as well. So I could just deliver basic resources to a city, or you could deliver to production buildings like this. So if I deliver wood to here, that will slowly be produced into planks or lumber. That lumber can then be resold or taken somewhere else and sold for even more. So for example, lumber over here in Louisville sells for a decent sum of money. However, if you look at this, it says price per one, 4,400. I am paying that price. You have to buy the materials from where you're picking it up. It's not just, oh, I'm delivering it so I get a cut of the profit. No, I buy the resource and then I sell it somewhere else. Same with the logging supplies just here. Now, in later missions, you can buy these places and then all the profit is yours. You do have to pay maintenance though, per month. But it obviously is cheaper than buying the wood or, whatever it's producing. Right, so first thing I would like is just to connect from this city to here, maybe for passengers. So to build rails, it's a point-to-point system, so you have to start at one of your existing tracks. Depending on how you go about it, depends on your max speed and the cost. Now, if I just wanted to get from one point to the next as quick as possible, you can just literally drag over to a new station here, and that's how much it will cost. However, you can also get a little bit more involved and do whatever you want with the track. I'm not suggesting you do it like I've just done there, but as you can see, you can set the rail up in more intricate ways. Now, I'd like to come down like that and then across that way. There is a reason for that, because I do want to connect that farm and I don't want to have to do a very weird angle that slows it down. Okay. So if I wanted, you can double rail. However, you can't do signalling. Signalling is automatic. So if I have another rail, it will automatically put a signal there. And as I say, 2 trains can't occupy the same sort of area. So if one breaks down on the track, it might grind your whole system to a halt and things like that. So you do have to be a little careful, sometimes making alternate routes just so things don't go wrong. But that will be fine. And then, as I say, I would like to connect over to there. So if we have a offshoot to this side, that comes over to here. 30. Damn, that's a lot of money. Can I get it any cheaper if I sort of intervene a little bit? It's because the terrain is different heights and it was building sort of viaducts and all sorts of things. 28. That's better. Yeah, I'll have that. Okay. So, now let's set up our trains. Now, you've got a couple of ways to do this. I obviously have a train already sitting there, but I am going to need a second one because I've got 2 different routes. And I would like an individual train on each of those routes. So, our first train, the 2 ways to set these up is you can click Add Station and choose a station. And then you can click the Load and Unload and choose what they load from each station. The other option is to literally just click on these tabs that are above the cities. So if I want to grab, say, passengers from here, I can just click them. Now, obviously, you do have a maximum tonnage and speed. If I go over that, it won't allow me. If I get to the maximum, then it will reduce my max speed. So I want to pick up people there and drop them off here. I'll then pick up people here and drop them off over here. Now this little icon means that it will wait until complete. So that first train won't leave until it's got 3 passengers to pick up. I don't really want that because there may not always be 3 passengers to pick up. So just by clicking it, we can remove it, which will allow the train to just take what's available. So, apply. So that's our first train set up. Now our second train is going to come down here and grab some wheat, 3 of those, and then deliver them to there. Now this one I don't mind if it waits to pick up the maximum amount, because, you know, the profit isn't in constantly running, the profit is in more, you know, dropping off a full load. So there we go. Both of those are set up. Let's watch our trains leave. So there's our first train. And if I push H, that's awesome. I love it. Now you can follow the trains just by clicking the portrait. You can't get any closer than I am, unfortunately, but you can still see it quite well. And there's one of the signals, as you can see. That will allow this train to leave that way and still allow the other train to come to this station. And I did work out why I muted my mic. To change the speed in this game, you can push the plus and minus key on the number pad. Unfortunately, I have the plus key linked to muting the mic on my recording software. I stupidly forgot that as I tried to speed up the game. Yeah. Kind of idiotic of me, but yeah, what do you expect? Now, one of our missions is to set up a research department in our headquarters. For that, we're going to have to upgrade our headquarters, and now we can install a research department. So, now we can improve our locomotives or even develop new ones. I'm sure that 5 research projects will be enough to keep our company updated. So, basically, as far as I can tell, research persists through levels. So if I do a load of research now, in the next level, I'll have that research already unlocked. So depending on what I research depends on how I start that next level as well. If we hit this tab, as you can see, we've got unlocks for the best friend, which is our current locomotive. We can increase its power, its speed, its pulling mass, add aging to it so it doesn't deteriorate as much with age. The reliability so it doesn't break down as much, so on and so forth. Or, if I research all locomotives' power, then I can research a new locomotive. And there are more locomotives, I just don't have access to them until later levels as far as I'm aware. But as you can see, I can then upgrade that train. I would like to unlock a new locomotive. So we have 10 researchers total. I could have them all do something different. This will take 240 days with one researcher. With 2 researchers, it doesn't quite halve it, but it does reduce it by a decent amount. But I think 3 people working on that brings it down to 86 days. I would also like the aging of these engines lowered. As you can see, it does cost me money to buy the initial sort of research, so don't go whole hog and buy everything. And I think max speed is also a good one to do, so we'll put our last couple of researchers around. All these will be done in about 3 months, or just over 3 months. Okay. Our little train, it grabbed its grain. So the grain I'm purchasing for 800 each, and on delivery here I'm getting 3,080. Now the other thing that this train will do is, because I'm delivering grain to here, not to here, this will then produce meat. Now that meat I can deliver to the Bowling Green City for a decent chunk of money. Obviously I do have to buy it, but it's still worth a decent amount, so it's worth moving. Now, as you can see, the closer you get to full capacity, the slower the train goes. Do I want to pull 2 of them off? Yeah, you know what, I may as well. I do want it to unload this time though, but after this time, just take 2 at a time. That will speed up the train's journey. So this train is currently waiting at the signal for this train, which is a slight annoyance. I wish I could force that one through, but I can't. No, in no way can I touch that signal. Okay, let's speed up time quite a bit just to get that through then. Because it's a slowdown I can't afford. That might be another reason it would be good to have less cars on that train. There we go. This one's not as slow. Passengers aren't quite as heavy as grain. Although, let's go back down a speed. Now we do need to start on the iron and the coal. Well, I don't exactly have a great deal of money. Now, steel is produced just here once you start delivering both both iron and coal. Now there's iron just there, there's also iron over here, and coal is just here. Okay. So how much is it going to cost me? All our research has just been done, or some research has just been done rather. So if I come... Since you're new here, I want to let you know that locomotives are wearing out. Time does not spare anyone, and the locomotives are no exception, especially if the transported goods are heavy, or is heavy. So what that wants, it's just adding a new mission to me, and just making you aware that these trains have a condition. So you have the mileage and you have age. Now age slowly lowers the buffer, so you won't be able to get it sort of at maximum. Mileage slowly depletes and you have to repair it. Once it gets down to a certain percentage, your train will start breaking down, and if it breaks down, it just blocks the line. Nothing can get past it. So we do have to deal with that. And to do that, we need to upgrade a station. Then we can build a new facility. So we are going to put a repair shop there. So now we have a repair shop, it's not just going to automatically repair our trains. We've also got to go onto our trains, and at a station there is a repair shop, we have to click. Now if you want to micromanage your trains, you can click just once and it will repair once. However, if you click twice, you'll get that icon, which means that it will repair every time it's there, or every time it needs it, one or the other, I'm not 100% sure. But that's what I want it to do, because I don't want to have to micromanage every train. So same with this one, and a plug. Make sure you hit plug. So yeah. Oh, we're already getting meat there, that's good. So how much would it cost? If I were to pull off from that line there... Really? What are you doing? Go that way, thank you. So if you stay close enough to this line, as you can see, it will sort of double track. Or if you move away from it, you can branch in any direction. Now there's no way to cross a line like this, so you have to be careful where you put your lines and aware that you can't cross. If I bring that over here, and then connect in, how's that? Ooh, 6,000? That is a decent... yeah, okay. So the reason that I've double lined that is I'm going to buy a new locomotive, and this particular locomotive is going to grab some passengers, if they're available, and it's going to drop those passengers off. It's then going to pick up as much meat as it can carry. 2, okay. And I will let it wait for that meat to be available. And then it's going to drop that meat off. I also obviously want it to repair at that station if it ever needs it. There we go. Clarksville now demands meat. Typical. So Clarksville is now using some of the meat it produces. All of the meat it produces so far. When a place demands what it actually produces itself, it will slowly just nick them from the factory that's producing it, as you can see. However, as my train will sit there and wait, I'll buy it before the city does, whenever my train is available, so it won't matter much. Oh. What? I didn't think they were possible to do that. I have never seen a train go through another train before. I didn't even know that was possible. Huh. Okay then. Slightly annoyed that that happened. That's not meant to happen. maybe because one of them was like the signals were weird, it let it do it. But yeah, that's weird. I'm not 100% happy with that. I didn't think that would occur. Now the way the signals work, they don't designate one path to be sort of southward and one path being northward. It's just if one of these paths is already occupied, the other train will go the other way. And that means that, you know, even if they're both going in the same direction, both paths might end up having a train going in the same direction. They just do whatever they can to avoid going near each other. So yeah, that's weird. Because I've had a train blocking a path before, and the other one didn't go through it. So maybe because there was a path for it to go, it allowed it. But yeah, that's slightly odd. But we are building up a decent cash base, so let's get some more track laid. So I want to come up and around. So this path wants to curve and go into this station here. Thank you. Now that particular path isn't actually going to be used very often. It's just so I can get a train up to New Orleans to pick up the coal, and then it's going to go on its way sort of out to this station once I've built it. I could branch off this path a little and, you know, grab passengers or something from here, which I may do. I don't know. It just depends. But at least we're making some money. Whenever we sell the meat, that's worth it. I could have this train grabbing some meat as well, but I think passengers is fine. We do need to, you know, move some of them. Right, so let's do some more research, shall we? I would definitely like a new train. I don't want it to take 600 days, though. 109 days with 6 employees working on it, yeah, that's fine. I'd also like to increase the reliability and the aging of my other trains. So we'll have 2 workers on both. Once this finishes, I'll sort of dump the excess into these 2. Now, let's work out how much it's going to cost us to come down here. 41,000 each. Can I make that better? 40,000. Okay, a little better. 32,000. I am increasing the mileage, but saving, you know, 10,000 building the track, that's not terrible. Now, I do have a 50,000 overdraft. However, when you have an overdraft, like when you go into it, you're charged a daily allowance or a daily amount of interest, which is kind of excessive. You can get yourself out of the debt very quickly, but it's still annoying to be in the first place. It's not costing us anything to have that track ready to lay as soon as I have the money for it, so I'll just wait a short while. Well, I say it's not costing us anything, it's costing us a little bit of the UI, so I can't see how long we've got left for the game and things like that. Although we've now got enough money, so done. We've only got 562 days left to finish the mission in. Wow. Okay. You know what? We are going to go into our overdraft a little. And you want to grab coal and deliver that coal. Once I have enough money, I do need to build a repair shop once again. This is just warning me that I'm in my overdraft, and if I'm in there too long or get too low, they're going to charge me a lot. But I think that is a good stopping point. So we've got 3 trains. We're delivering wheat, which then turns into meat, and then we're moving that meat. We're also moving some passengers, and we've just set out our coal. Hopefully in the next episode we'll get the iron set up, and then hopefully we'll start moving steel to Cincinnati. Although the mission hasn't shown up yet. But it is showing us the warehouse where we need to deliver it eventually. So, yeah. But hopefully you have enjoyed and hopefully you have enjoyed and liked the first episode of this new series. Hopefully I'll do all of the campaigns, and the game is in early access, so certain things are missing or liable to change. Hopefully the trains passing through each other will change and won't happen anymore. There isn't a sandbox mode as of yet. The developer is promising one, and it is showing up on the main menu as to be added. So hopefully when that's added, we'll play this game a bit more once the campaign is finished. Depending on how long the campaign takes me, the sandbox might be in by then, but who knows. But as I say, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, please like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you next time.